let us start a new section. Now in this section, what we're going to do is we're going to be creating the main tab bar, and the main tab bar is going to be the home of navigating between all the views that are going to be available in our app, right? So we're going to have the match, the matches, chats, and profile, and they're going to be exactly what you think they are, right? Match is going to be where you swipe for users. Matches are going to be the users that you have swiped with, the users who like you, and also users who you have rejected in the past but maybe could come around to seeing as acceptable. And chats is where you're going to get all your chats. And finally, profile is going to be information about yourself, right? So let us actually put that into let's actually do that. So if you want an example of exactly what you're going to be doing, it's at the bottom here on this image, right? We're going to have matches, chats, and profile, right? And you're going to be able to cycle between them. And also, we're going to add animation. So every time you select match, there's going to be a sort of animation that tells you that you're now in the match section, an animation for matches, an animation for chats, and profile. And also we're going to show, depending on whether it's selected or unselected, we're going to show a different SF symbol, right? So we're going to load a different SF symbol on whether it's selected and unselected. And also we're going to change the color. You notice that in this case, profile has been selected, the word is in purple, and the image, the SF symbol in question that is being used on this particular tab has color in it. These others are outlines and the color is grayed out, right? So that's how we're going to notice if a user has selected the correct one or the different one, right? A different one, right? And of course, you're going to be able to navigate between them. And this is going to be the profile photo. That's going to be the section after this one. So after this, we're going to be working on the profile photo. Let's work on this bottom section, which will be a bit shorter than the previous sections, but it will teach us a few things about the tab bar, and also we'll create a bunch of animations, right? So let's get to it. Okay, so what we do is we come to controllers when we are going to create a new one, and this one is going to be the main tab bar controller. It's going to be a Swift file. You know, we like creating our stuff from scratch as usual. It's going to be main tab bar controller, like so. We're going to hit create. We're going to get this. We need to make sure that this is going to be UIKIT, right? So this is going to be that. And we come here and we say class, and this is going to be main that. It's going to be UI. This is going to be UI tab bar controller, right? So it's not going to be UI view controller like usual. This one is going to be UI tab bar controller. And we're also going to use a delegate, but I'm going to put the delegate separately. I'm going to explain why we're going to do the delegate in a bit. We're going to look at that in a bit, right? So we call the super. Let's call the super. We've done that a bit. Super. Or rather, view did load, right? View did load, and then the super. View did load, and then we call the super. That is done, right? Then after that, what we're going to do is we are going to create a function, and this function is going to be very important in the whole point of this function is going to be creating the various navigation controllers. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass in a view controller, and we're going to have the image, the selected image, the title, and we're going to have a bunch of options that you can pass in, right? Now, what it's going to have, it's going to be everything that our controller is going to have, right? Our various tab bar controllers are going to have. So let us put that into action. This one is going to be called func. It's going to be called create navigation controller, and it's going to do exactly what you think it is, right? It's going to be, we could say here this is going to be root view controller, like so, and this is going to be of type UI view controller, like so, and then you put a comma, and then it's going to have a title. The title is going to be the one at the bottom that you just saw, right? That's going to be the title. In this case, if I could show you exactly what the title is going to be, the title is going to be match, right? That's going to be the title, right? Then we are going to have the image, which is going to be a string, and the reason the image is a string is because you're getting it from the SF symbol, as you have seen already. The selected image, this is also going to be a string, right? And we've already seen that. And what it's going to do is it's going to spit out a UI view controller, like so, and we can actually come here and actually sort it out. And this is going to be let nav controller, and the nav controller is going to be UI navigation controller, and the root view controller is going to be the root view controller that we pass in, right? The one at the top that we just passed in, right? And we come here and we say nav controller dot tab bar item dot title. The title is going to be the title that is passed in. Then we say nav controller dot tab bar item dot image, and the image is going to be UI image, and the system name is going to be image that is passed in like so. And we're going to add the configuration. We say here with configuration. What's the configuration? K configuration, the configuration that we created on our constants, right? So that's going to be that. Then the next thing we're going to have is we're going to have the nav controller. Come here, say nav controller like so, and we are going to have the selected image, right? Dot tab bar item dot selected image, and the selected image is just going to be UI image system name, and that's going to be selected image. And the configuration with configuration is going to be K configuration, right? K configuration, we created it already, so that is done, right? Now the next thing is we want everything inline, right? So what that means, let me just show you. Inline here, we want it tiny, like so, not like the large ones that we had when we were in the various controllers that we used to register and log in, right? So we want this one where it's a bit more muted and smaller, right? So that is the case. And what's the next thing that we need to do? The next thing is, oh yeah, we need to tell it that. So we come here and we say nav controller like so dot navigation bar like so. Then we say prefers large title. We don't want prefers large title. We actually do not want that. So we say here false. That is sorted. Then we say nav controller like so dot navigation item like so dot title. And what's the title? The title is going to be, have we put, oh yeah, we have already put the I believe we have oh no, this is the title and the navigation item, right? So that's going to be the title. Okay, that was the tab bar item navigation item title, right? So that is that, so that you can pass in the title. Okay, it might seem a bit redundant. We have the profile here and the profile here, right? You could get rid of one of them. Originally when I was coding this out, yeah, now that I think about it, it's a bit odd to have the title here and there, but for now we're going to have it like that, right? So basically that. And what we are going to do now is we are going to come here and we create a function. So let's create another function, and this function is going to be called function. It's going to be called update tab bar appearance, right? Appearance like so, and this is going to be that, and that is going to be that, right? And what we want here is to call it. So we come here and we say update tab bar appearance, that is sorted. Then we need to return it, so we say return. Then we say this is going to be nav controller. Now we have everything that we need, right? And we can actually proceed from there. We come back here to update tab bar controller, and what we want is going to be, this is just going to be some appearance stuff that is going to be UI stuff, right? So it's going to be let, and here we're going to say tab bar appearance, and this is going to be of type UI tab bar appearance like so, and this is going to be, well, it can only be one thing, right? It can only be that, right? You can tell from the name. And the next thing is going to be tab bar appearance, and we want to configure with opaque background like so. Then we say let bar tint color, and this is going to be UI color, and this is going to be dot white, right? So that is going to be that. And the next thing is going to be tab bar appearance like so, background color. What's the background color? We want the background color to be bar tint, right? So we say bar tint color, right? That is sorted. And then we probably should create another function, and this function, let's come here and call it, create it, and then use it, right? Func, it's going to be called update tab bar item appearance, right? I know that's a long ass name, but yeah, it's going to be like that, appearance, and this is going to be UI tab bar appearance, right? So we have that, and we come here and we say let tint color. And what's the tint color? The tint color is going to be UI color like so, and this is going to be dot system. What's it? It's going to be system purple, right? Then after that we say let unselected, the unselected is going to be a selected item tint color. What's that going to be? It's going to be UI color like so, and that's going to be dot system pink like so, right? And here we're going to say appearance dot selected appearance dot selected dot icon color, and the icon color is going to be the tint color, right? The tint color like so. And we say appearance dot appearance dot normal dot icon color, and this is going to be from the unselected, right? We come here and we say unselected item tint, right? So that's just going to be the stuff that you're going to we're going to have that, and we're going to sort everything out in a second. And this should be TabBar item, right? TabBar item appearance like so, right? And that's sorted. Now after we do the update TabBar thing, the next thing we'd want to do is we would need to we need to call it up here, right? We stopped calling it in the update TabBar appearance, right? So we said after we set the bar tint color, we're supposed to call this functionality here, right? So we come here and we say update TabBar appearance, and the appearance is just going to be the TabBar appearance dot compact inline layout appearance, the appearance attributes for items displayed inline style in a compact environment. I think this changes came in iOS, was it 15? Compact inline layout appearance like so. And then we need to call it again. We say update TabBar appearance, and the appearance is going to be TabBar. Okay, wait. Get rid of that. Say this is going to be TabBar appearance dot this should be inline layout appearance. Then we call it the third time. Come here, say update that TabBar appearance. This is going to be TabBar appearance, and we want it in the stacked. So we say stacked layout appearance like so. And we say self dot TabBar dot standard appearance, and this is going to be TabBar appearance like so. And the final thing I think we need to do is say self dot TabBar dot scroll edge appearance, and this is going to be that, right? So now if we have done everything according to plan, this should give us TabBars, right? But of course, you're not going to see anything if you call this, right? Because think about it. We have created the navigation, but we have not created the various TabBars, right? So we need to create the 4 TabBars, and we could come here and we need to create 4 controllers. We hit Command N. This is going to be a new Swift file. This is going to be called match controller. And we hit create, and we come here. We need to import that. We need to come here, say class that UI view controller. Okay. View did load like so. Call the super. Give it a color so that you can see it when it appears. Dot background color. This one is going to be dot red, right? Then we come back here. Hit Command N. Create a new Swift file. Like so. This one is going to be called. The second one is going to be called matches like so. Hit create. Come here. We need to import UIKIT. This is going to be UIKIT like so. Call the class. This is going to be class matches like so. UI view this one like so. Come here. This is going to be that. View did load like so. Super. Call that view dot background color. This is going to be blue. We had red, blue like so. Then we have the next one is going to be chart. Command N. This is going to be called charts like so. Hit that. Come here. Need to import UIKit. Come here. UIKit like so. Class. This is going to be it's called charts. So there's a very high chance that that's what it's going to be called here. It's going to be UI view controller like so. Come here. View did load like so. Call the super. View did load. Come here. View dot background color. This is going to be dot. We had red. we had blue, we have cyan, right? And then we can have mint maybe. And the final is going to be Command N. This is going to be a Swift file. This is going to be called profile. And we're going to hit create, and we're going to import UIKIT like so. Come here, say class. This is going to be profile like so. UI view controller like so. Come here. What's the next? We call the super view did load like so. Call the super like so. View dot background color. What's the background color? Is going to be dot. Let's see, which color do we want? We want green. Let's go with green, right? You could put system, I'd say mint or something. Pick a color you like, right? So now we have our particular views that we're going to have in our profile controller. In our main TabBar controller, we could come back, create a new function that is going to have them. This is going to be called func. It's going to be called something like set up tabs, or call it something that makes sense to you. Come here, do this, and this is just going to be view controllers, right? And it expects an array of them. So we have that. Come here. Now we're going to have a bunch of them. And how are we going to create them? Well, you could assign them to variables and then show them, like, say, create now let chats equals create navigation controller that. Yeah, you could do it like that, right? And then afterwards in the array you call those variables which you have assigned that, right? And that's one way you could do it, or you could just declare them here, right? So what you're going to do is just come here and say create navigation controller, and for the first one is going to be, we need match. So this is going to be for match controller. Match we called it, okay, we call this match controller, and then this one matches and chats, and okay, we might have to change that, right? So that we keep it in line, because you're seeing all the controllers have controllers, and this one is just match. This is match controller, so this should be matches, and we come here and we call this matches controller like so. And we could come here and we say this is going to be matches controller like so. And we come to chats, and this is going to be chats controller like so. And this is going to be chats. Let's just change this. Okay, this is going to be profile controller. I don't know why it was not being selected, but here we just say profile controller. Keep it in line, right? And here we just say this is going to be chats controller, right? Just keep them looking how they're supposed to be, right? So that there's a bit of uniformity, right? Now we come here and we say match controller like so. Match controller. Remember, there's match controller and there's matches, right? It's a bit hard to come up with names. So I thought like match is where you actually do the main thing, and it's going to be the first tab. Matches is where you see the past actions that you've done, right? And you're also going to be able to do a couple of things, but let's just have that, right? So this is going to be match controller like so. And the title, and let's get our SF symbol going. So we say SF symbol like so. We have our SF symbol so that you can see it. The title, for now, the title is going to be match. The image in question is going to be flame. The selected image is going to be flame.fill, right? So you see, that's how you show one and have different images. So depending on whether you're selected or not, put that, right? Put the flame or the flame.fill, right? Put a comma, right? Then go to the next one. Create, remember this is an array, so this is going to be that. Then this one is going to be for the matches controller, right? Like so. This one title is going to be matches like so. Image is going to be heart, and you guessed it, selected image is going to be heart.fill, right? So let's look at flame and flame.fill and heart.fill, right? Come here, this is going to be the heart, and that's the heart. You can see heart and heart.fill, right? You see those two. Then you're going to have flame and then flame.fill. So you see those two, right? The next thing is to put a comma, not a full stop, but a comma. Come here, say create navigation controller for, this is going to be chats controller. Title is going to be chats. Image is going to be Let's get that. We just need text bubbles, right? We need text bubbles, like you can see this, right? We need this text bubbles. That's what you're trying to recreate, and that's going to be something like bubble dot left dot and bubble right dot fill, right? Bubble left and bubble right. So copy name, that's that. Do this. Selected image is probably going, wait. It's going to be right till here. We're going to leave that, then we're going to copy this, and it's going to be the exact same with a slight difference. Can you guess the difference? Can you guess the difference? The difference is going to be this, right? So that's going to be that, right? Then we call the other one, it's going to be create navigation controller, and this one is going to be for the, what's this? This is going to be the profile controller. Let's come here. Title is going to be, you guessed it, it's going to be profile. Image, what's the image? Is going to be person and person.fill, right? I think we've already seen person, right? So let's come here and say we want person. Person and person.fill, the first two you can see there, right? That's going to be person, and this is going to be person.fill, right? And remember, this is going to be the order that you see them, right? If you call it like this, you're going to see it like this, right? So the first is going to be match, matches, chats, and then profile, right? Because that's how you call them, right? And now what we want to do is just, we want to call setup tabs. Come here, say setup tabs, right? Then the next thing to do is come to our scene delegate. And what do we want to do? We would like to, we're going to comment this out, right? We're probably going to use this code somewhere in a bit, right? So instead of saying drop to VC here, we just say main TabBar controller. So we do that, do this, reload, and if we have no errors, we have a bunch of warnings, so should be careful with that. Have a bunch of warnings. Don't have a bunch. We have a bunch of warnings, but no errors, right? So let's see this in action. Give it a second. Give it another second. It's going to take a bit. Doing it from a cold start. Okay, what's this going to look like? This is going to be, give it a second. It's taking forever, right? Or is it showing? You know, I might be waiting here and it's actually showing. We have maybe made a mistake that has made stuff not come out, right? But basically that's what we're supposed to have. Okay, there it is, finally, right? We have our particular view, right? I thought it wasn't working. So we have our various views, and let's see if we can cycle through the colors. So currently we start on the first one, which is going to be match. Let's just go back to our code and make sure that it's working as it should. There, right? Let's come here. Where is it? It's here, right? So we have the match. This is blue, red, blue. This one was, I think, is that, okay, I don't know what color that is. Probably mint or something, I've forgotten. And this is definitely green, right? Let's just check. This is cyan, right? Cyan, okay, cyan or however you pronounce it, like cyanide. So there, basically those are the various colors, right? Now we can cycle through our colors and it works like a charm. I think we have what you're looking for, but this is not all that we're looking for. Remember, we want it to be animated, right? So that when you select one, it sort of animates, right? So let's make sure that when you select something, it actually animates, and then we proceed from there. Now that we have built up our navigations, right, we want to add a bit of animation to them, right? So what we're going to do is when you tap on them, right, what we want to do is, there are two ways we could do this. We could come here and we could make this a UI TabBar controller delegate, and that would save us writing one line of code, but okay, more than one line, but I just like to put it separately, right? So we come down here and we say extension, like so, on the main TabBar controller, like so, and this one is going to be UI TabBar controller delegate, like so. And here there's a particular function that we're interested in, and this function is when we actually select the icon. That is, we have selected that particular on the tab, that particular view on the tab, right? So this is called did select. So just type here did select controller did select. Is it this one? Yes, it is this one. UI TabBar did select view controller, UI view controller. So when you select it, right? So what we want here is we want a bunch of things. We want to get the selected index. So we come here and we say guard let selected index, and selected index is going to be TabBar controller. TabBar controller. Let's get this TabBar controller dot view controllers dot first index of, and what do we want? The first index of the view controller, right? So we get that. Then we put a comma because we're putting several guards, right? So we put a comma and then we say something like or you could put several guards if you want, but we could save on the time. We say let TabBar item, and this is just going to be TabBar controller dot TabBar let's go TabBar controller like so dot TabBar, and what we want is going to be dot items, and we want the selected index. We want the selected index like so, and then we put a comma like so, and we come here and we say let TabBar item view, and this is just going to be TabBar item dot value for key, and the key is going to be view, and we want it cast as UI view. Then we have a comma, and then we now get the image from that, the image view, right? So we say let's image. What do we want? We want image view, and what is that? That is going to be the TabBar item view, this one, and then we get the sub views like so, and we want to use compact map on them, and we could use $ notation, right? Come here, do that, and this is going to be for each one of them. So we get $0, and we want them cast as UI image view like so, and we want the first like so, first, else. Now we can just hit return, right? So we could have done like 1 2 3 4. We would have done 4 guard statements, but we can combine them into one, and I think this requires us to put a question mark there, right? So that's done, right? Now the next part is just the animation. This part, in fact, this animation is going to be easier than the other animations we've done, so this is pretty straightforward, right? So let's come here and we say UI view dot animate keyframes with duration, and the duration is going to be, we want 1.0, the delay is going to be 0, the animation is going to be that, and we're just going to say UI view dot add keyframe with relative start time. We want it to start immediately, so we say 0.0. Relative duration is going to be 0.25. So keyframes, we want them to be a bit smoother, so we're going to tell it, like when you're using an animation with keyframe, we want it to animate through several positions, right? So what we want to do is we want to make it bigger, then smaller, then bigger, then return to the same size, right? I don't know if that makes sense. So how we're going to animate the sort of, like, if you're thinking of a heart, you're going to make it, how to make it seem like the heart is beating. You make it bigger, smaller, bigger, then, okay, not as big as before, and then you're going to return it, right? You're going to see that in a few seconds, right? Or in about a minute. So let's see that. So with relative duration, and we come that, and we come into this closure, and what we want to do is we want to take the image view that we got there, image view, and what do we want to do with it? We want to transform it. So transform, and what we're going to transform is going to be an affine transform. That is, make it like apply a matrix to it, right? So that we can increase the size by a certain size, right? Affine transformation, we've already gone over what that is, right? So just multiply it by something. In this case, we want it to multiply it by 1.2. So what you're going to do is make it 20% bigger, and then after that we say UI view dot add keyframe with relative start time, and after that you're going to go, we want maybe 0.1 after that. Relative duration is going to be 0.25 like so. Animation, hit this, come here, and this is going to be, after you make it 20% bigger, make it 20% smaller than the original size, right? So what that is going to be image view dot transform, and this is going to be CG affine transform. In fact, you should try it out to put it, make it 80% smaller, and of course that's just putting it 0.8, right? It's really straightforward, 0.8 like so. and this is going to be 0.8. And after that, what we want to do is we want to make it, after we make it bigger, then we make it smaller, we want to return it to the same size, right? And how do we do that? Without putting the animation to 1.0, without reusing a CGFN transform. If you can remember, okay, maybe if it's your first time you're dealing with this, you might not remember, but we have the identity transformation, and the identity transformation returns it to the original identity, right? Original size. So what that looks like is pretty straightforward. It's UI view like so. Add keyframe with relative start time. The relative start time is 0.6. Like so. Relative duration is going to be 0.4. Like so. Animations, hit enter. That's going to be image view like so. Dot transform like so. And that's just going to be, we want to go to the identity. So we get it to the identity like so. That is sorted, and that's all you need to do to animate it. Let's see it in practice. You know, we might have just been typing code and maybe it's going to not work, and we come here and we hit this and it doesn't animate. Can you tell why? It's not working because we forgot to tell it, come to the main TabBar controller and say delegate self. This is the one line we were not writing that I said about, right? We could, if you came here and just did make this the delegate, you don't have to write the self, and then you could just put this functionality inside somewhere here, right? But I wanted to see it separate, but you could just totally like get rid of this, put it up there, then call this functionality somewhere at the bottom here. It would work the same. Anyway, let's try it out. Maybe I'm just talking and it won't actually work, right? So we come here and we see this, and you can see the animation, right? You can see it, right? So basically you can see when you select it, it's filled, and then it gets bigger, and then it becomes smaller. So that is actually what we aim to do, right? So that is pretty straightforward, nothing to it. Let's continue from there. We would like to next, I believe, let's look at this, right? You see this at the top here, right? We have a sort of navigation bar, right? We want it to look the same. We want to be able to call it from a function because we're going to use it in 4 places, right? Potentially, at least 4 places that we know of, right? Maybe we might use it in more. You never know. So what we would like to do is we would like to make it very easy to call. We just want to call a function, and all we want to do is just pass in the title, and you see it on the screen, right? That it's pretty straightforward and easy to set up. Since we're going to use it in several places, I'm sure you know what that means. It probably should be in the extensions. Let's come to the view controller, and what we want is going to be func configure. What do we want to configure? We want to configure the navigation bar like so, and this one is going to be title. Title is going to be the string, and what it's going to do is we're just going to say let appearance. This is just boilerplate stuff that you actually need to have. Appearance is going to be UI, and they change it a bit here and there, right? So we have that, and then appearance is going to be dot configure with opaque background like so. Then we say it's going to be a lot of the stuff that we did here, right? Let's just go to the main TabBar controller, right? Main TabBar controller, and navigation bar. Where is it? Okay, it's gonna look a bit like this, right? Where we're doing the scroll edge appearance, the that and that and that, right? So it's going to look a bit like that, right? So what it's going to be appearance dot background color, and this is just going to be, we want it dot white like so, and we say navigation controller dot navigation bar dot standard appearance is going to be the appearance. Then we say navigation controller. Remember the 3 things we call, right, in the previous functionality. So it's going to be a bit like that. Navigation controller dot navigation bar dot compact appearance is going to be that. Then we say navigation controller dot navigation bar, and what do we want? We want the scroll edge appearance. The scroll edge appearance is just going to be the appearance like so. Then we can come here and we say navigation item, and the title is going to be, how do we set the title? The title is just going to be title, and remember we said the title should be inline, right? If you can remember, navigation controller dot navigation bar. In fact, if you want, you could incorporate this into the controller when you're creating this, right? So if that's one thing you could do, and we say dot tint color, and this is just going to be dot black, like so, right? So that is going to be basically that. And maybe the reason we're putting it here is because we might want to use it elsewhere also, right? So we are going to probably, definitely, almost certainly use it elsewhere. So that's why we're putting it here instead of putting it in the main TabBar controller. Anyway, how you use it is pretty straightforward. Let's go to profile, and what we want to do is just call this function configure navigation bar, and this is going to be called the profile. Okay, let's do this and reload. And if we've done everything as it should be, let's see, what does this look like? Let's come to profile, and you see, voila, profile has this, right? Profile does have this, right? So profile has that, and we come here, this doesn't have, and we could also put it maybe on, we're not going to be working on matches next, but let's just come to matches and put it here, right? Let's put it here and see it. So it's there in matches, but no, it says profile. It should be matches, right? So matches, and then let's put it in match. Come here. This should be match, right? Match, and finally chats, right? Come here, paste. This should be okay. Chats, so let's see them all in action. And this is what they look like. We have our various views. So we have match, we have matches, we have chats, and we have profile, and all of them animate. So it is a good day. So everything is working as it should be, and we can actually proceed from there.